All right, what it do, FSU family? You over here on 863 Seminole TV. Y'all know who I am, but you don't know why I'm here. Well, mass exodus. That is why I'm here, guys. So if you don't know, it's been trending pretty much all day today. There is a list of FSU players, some upperclassmen, some lowerclassmen that are rumored. Now this is a rumor, but apparently it's a very credible rumor. So take it with a little bit of a grain of salt. The names that I'm going to read off may change, but this is the rumor. I have a list of names of players who are opting out or transferring within the coming this week, next week, or in the coming weeks. Okay. Before I get into the list of names, I'm gonna say this. I know people are going to think the sky is, well, first of all, the sky is already falling. So let's be real on that. The sky is already falling. So the sky is not falling any more than it already has. This is a good thing. That's basically what I'm getting at. This is a good thing. Again, 3 to 5 year rebuilds, and it's in hand, and it's taking full effect. Now the list of these names, I'll be honest with you, majority of the people on this list, I'm completely fine with, and I have no issues with, to be quite honest. There may be onesies or twosies here where I kind of wish those guys would stick it out. But I am fine. I am excited, believe it or not, to see the tear down and the rebuild. Because Norvell's going to have pretty much all the time in the world, because FSU ain't going to get rid of him. They can't afford to get rid of him. So Norvell's going to have all the time in the world to figure this thing out. I'm excited for the rebuild. It's needed. I'm ready to see, I'm ready to see what the future holds. I will also say this before I read the list off of these players. Keep aware of some of these players. Watch where they go next and see how they perform. Because for the last few weeks, it's been a highly debated topic in Florida State and the Florida State fan base. Is it the coaching or the players? That's been the debate. I got it. Some of these players are going to transfer to other schools and have an opportunity to have success. If they go there and they play well and they ball, I want you guys to remember what I've been telling you for the last month, that it's the coaching and not the players. First of all, majority of these kids are on defense. That's first and foremost, right? The majority of these kids are on defense. These kids go out there and they play at their new school, and they play well. We can definitely revisit that topic. But anyway, without further ado, this is the list of, now I'm driving now, so while I read and drive, if I crash on this, you guys call 911. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, list of 12 players that I was able to get. Somebody gave me the information. I was able to get a hold of the list. I had known about the 12. I had known about the upcoming guys getting out, but I just got my hands on the list. And again, a lot of these guys aren't even surprising. But let's go through the list. James Blackman, no surprise there. Wood Bay, good luck in your future endeavors. Warren Thompson, no surprise there. J-Rob, I think J-Rob's probably more of an opt-out than a transfer. J-Rob's going to try to go pro, so I don't think that's much of a surprise there. Jaleel McCray, good luck in your future endeavors. Corey Durden, probably going to try to go pro. I don't know if he's going to transfer. I think that's more of an opt-out there. Deloach is the one name that I am not happy to see on this list. But I don't blame Kalen Deloach, because quite frankly, Kalen Deloach hasn't even been being used. So if you're not using him, you're not playing him. A guy that we think should be being used, should be playing, should be seeing some type of reps, he's not even being used. Good luck, Kalen DeLoach, in your future endeavors. Akeem Dent, I think that's a guy that had all the potential in the world and for whatever reason couldn't put together. So good luck in your future endeavor. Quayshawn Fuller's another one. Brandon Gant, Donta Lucas, and Cooper. Cooper, again, I think that might be not more of a opt-out, not necessarily a transfer. Cooper might be trying to go pro. So we're losing depth on that defensive line. Again, you heard a bunch of defensive players here. Again, Kalen DeLoach, man, that's the one name that stands out to me, if I'm being honest. I would probably like to see Gant as well stay. But if Gant feels the need to leave, again, I said it before, man, and I'm going to say it again, and I'm going to continue to say it again. If you don't want to be here for whatever reason, whether that's you don't want to compete, whether that's you don't feel like you're being coached properly, which I could understand, whatever the reason, if you don't want to be a Seminole, then you should leave. Attrition is happening, folks, whether you like it or I like it or not. Me personally, I love it. I love it. I want kids that want to be here. I want kids who aren't tainted. I want kids who want to learn. I want kids that want to be coached. and we'll see, right? We'll see what Adam Fuller, because I'm not even going to talk about him being fired anymore, because it's not going to happen. I've come to that realization. Adam Fuller will not be let go after the first year. So now I'm going to see. I'm going to give you this chance, Adam Fuller, to get your guys in there and see how your defense looks. But the attrition is happening. The exodus is happening. The kids who, for whatever reason, maybe didn't buy in, whatever, it's happening. Now, there's some kids on this list who were actually very good kids. Very good kids. I mean, Woodbay's one of them. James Blackman's another one. Never had anything negative to say. Just did their job or tried to do their job. And I got no real negative things to say about the kid that is James Blackman or Woodbay. Lackluster players on the field, but good kids. Same thing with Janoris Robinson. Good dude, I think. Nothing negative to say. But guys like Corey Durden, who have been vocal on Twitter plenty of times, always seem to run their mouth. Your on-field production is always lacked. Warren Thompson, we already know the Warren Thompson saga that he's had since he's been here. I mean, this guy can't get along with any coach. Was recruited by Willie Taggart and fell out with him. Fell out with Norvell. I mean, that kid needs to look in the mirror end of the day. But we already know what's going on with Warren Thompson. Donta Lucas has always seemed, while I like him as a player, the kids always seem to have had a anger issue or, emotional issue. I've seen him crying after the Miami game. He wanted to fight. It's like you're doing all of this extra stuff, but you're not winning on the football field and you ain't playing up to par. So Donta Lucas is another one. And I'm not saying their character is questionable, but they have issues off the field, not just on the field. Warren Thompson, Corey Durden, Donta Lucas. A lot of these other guys have been pretty quiet. You don't really hear much negative stuff off the field about them. But maybe they're just looking for a new opportunity, which, I don't blame them. I understand it. And I'm for it. I am for it. That is really the breaking news, is the mass exodus that is happening at Florida State. If you don't like it, I understand it. But you should embrace this, FSU fans. It's time to realize where we are at, where this program is at, and what we need to do to get back to where we need to be. And keep throwing out the same guys out there getting the same results isn't going to help anybody or anyone. They want to leave, you let them leave. Bring in kids who are hungry, want to compete, improve some things. And I think, hopefully we see the results. Now, I'm not saying that this is going to work. I can't predict, take a sip. Can't predict, because you can't predict how you're going to replace some of these kids. Like, the biggest hit off the rip is that defensive tackle room. Okay, you're going to lose Marvin Wilson, even though he's not on the list. Look, you're going to lose Marvin Wilson. Durden and Cooper, those are 3-year top defensive tackles. I mean, FSU's going to be running out Fabian Lovett, True Thompson, and like Dennis Briggs the remainder of this season. I'm not even sure who else you could throw out there. Maybe a Malcolm Ray, but I don't recall seeing much of him at all this year. There are still kids on this roster who they're going to get opportunities. There's kids on this roster that are going to get opportunities to compete. They're going to get opportunities to play. And hopefully they embrace it and seize the opportunity. Hopefully those kids who are leaving are successful wherever they go. But more so, the point that I'm getting at is embrace this, Florida State fans. Embrace this. I understand there's going to be a lot of people mad. But I'm personally for it. Goodbye. No ill feelings. Go out and find some success elsewhere. If you don't fit what's going on at Florida State, then go out and find some success elsewhere. But this is actually needed. This exodus is needed. We've been saying that the culture of this team is what it is for a while now. Well, the culture isn't going to change overnight. And quite frankly, the culture isn't going to change with the same pieces in place. It's time to tear this thing down and rebuild anew. Don't expect us to compete for anything in the next 2 to 3 years. It just is what it is. Is it unfortunate? Sure. But we are what we are. There's no point of moaning and crying and bitching and complaining about it. We are what we are. Now it's time to rebuild. FSU can now hope. I'm not going to say their only hope. Their biggest hope now is that you can convince people who are currently committed to stick it out. Show them the list of guys leaving and say, all positions on this team are up for grabs. So now you have to convince the commits to stay. You still got to go out there and fill out the rest of the recruiting class and say, there's a lot of open spots for kids to come in and compete off the bat. That's all you have. That's all you can do right now. Hit the transfer portal. Hey, we just had a lot of guys transfer out. Come on in. There's spots to be taken. Defensive tackle room is wide open right now. That wide receiver room is wide open right now. That secondary is wide open right now. We need all of that. Just from me looking at this list. D-line is wide open. D-line. Wide receiver. We're losing 2 linebackers, but they didn't really play either one of these guys. Everything's wide open, man. Everything's wide open. Stay upbeat, Florida State. I know it's hard, believe me. It's harder for me than it is for most of y'all because I get on here and talk about it every week. And there are times I just don't want to talk about it. But this is a necessary transition that needs to take place. Obviously, there is poison in this football locker room for the last 5 years. 3, 4, 5 years, whatever you want to, however far you think it goes back. But it's been poisoned. Well, it's the cure. The cure isn't a coaching change. The cure is a player change. I still think coaching needs to be improved, but it's obvious that the cure has to come from within, and that's getting different mentalities, kids with different mindset, some humble kids. There's a lot of kids on that list. There's some kids on that list that we know aren't very humble, that felt like they were entitled to something. I'm not going to say who they are. You guys pretty much know who they are. There's a couple names on that list where I'm like, okay, they always felt like they were entitled and never had to work for anything. So that's it. That is what it is. Little Monday video on the mass. If you haven't heard, now you've heard. There's a mass exodus going on in Tallahassee, a much needed one. I'm excited for it. I'm not ready to throw the towel in on the staff yet, because it is what it is. I didn't do that with the previous one. I'm not going to do it with this one. Once he starts getting his guys in, once he gets that full off season of spring, summer, fall. Like, I'm not using that excuse. I haven't used that as an excuse all year. But I will say this. Once he gets his guys in, he gets that full transition, gets that full time with the team in the off season. Though these players get in the weight room for a full year, I'll start judging this staff then. As of now, we are what we are. The rest of the season means nothing. At this point, well, Blackman's not going to play anymore. It's pretty obvious. At this point, I said you should go with Purdy the rest of the way. Now maybe you rotate guys at this point. I've kind of thought back on that. Maybe you just rotate the quarterback position just for everybody to get playing time or whatever. But we'll see what they do there. 12 guys on the way out within the coming week or weeks. Remember, these are all rumored names. It could be a different 12. Could be a different name here or there. Could be an extra name here or there. May not even be all 12 of those guys. But this is the rumor that's going on. One that is seen as a pretty credible rumor. I believe Knowles Game Day is the one who broke this. I got my hands on the list. I think the list is circulated enough by now, but I got my hands on the list, so I wanted to break this out to anybody who hasn't heard or seen it. But yo, it's your boy POLK, 863 Seminole TV. I just gave y'all the goddamn truth like I always do. Stay classy, Seminoles. That's all we're gonna do. Stay classy. And we OUTCHEA. I will see y'all some other time this week. If not tomorrow, don't know how my schedule's looking tomorrow. I will definitely get something out there this week. Could be Wednesday. But we OUTCHEA, guys. Stay classy.